Ads are personalized based on your search history. Boba, why are these ads not safe for work? I'll tell you my Google search history right now. Last thing, chancleta, alpargatas, Chew Valley Farm, TikTok, weather. That's it.
Would you consider yourself a Tiaboo?
I don't think you can be a Tiaboo because the British have no culture. What am I gonna... Oh, I love gravy. Oh, I just love gravy. We have Greg's. Greg's... Is Chainsaw Man worth a watch? Everyone's been pogging about it, but I don't know. What do you think our museums are full of? Repatriation. We need it. We need the repatriation of stolen artworks. We do. Oh, we can't return these works of art because you won't be very good at protecting them. Come up with a better excuse. Come up with a better one. Repatricia. There's a really good novel that we had to read in my college course. And then there's another one of a similar title. The titles of them are not great titles. I'll tell you the authors and then you can look them up. So there's a book by Lynn H. Nicholas, and it's basically about like the fate of Europe's treasures during the Third Reich and the Second World War. And it also became a film, which is like when the Nazis looted art treasures from occupied countries and stuff. It's like the term for a sexual assault. So it's like the assault of Europa. Monument Man, yeah. Thank you, Toe Man. Bigfoot, hell yeah. 14 months. But it's like... The other book that I read was of the same name, and it was The Assault of the Nile. And that one is by Brian Fagan. And that one is very predominantly focused, especially on Germany and England and their race to basically loot and take all of the, like, all of the stuff from Egypt. So besides the title of the books, they are great. I think England did end up taking more than Germany did. But the idea of it is really interesting because, like, all of this stuff was stolen from its original countries. Red Panic, thanks for the 5 months. So, like, one of the most famous examples of it is there is a museum that has blank spot for art to be returned. There's a museum, I think, in Greece. Someone might know. That is like waiting for pieces of a temple to be returned to them. Pip says Greece. And basically what happened with that piece of art was that it was taken from Greece. It might have been the Elgin marbles, okay, from the Parthenon. Were those taken during when the Ottoman Empire was in control? I feel like. A collection of classical Greek marble sculptures made under the supervision of the sculptor Phidias. They are parts of the Parthenon and other sacred ceremonial structures built on the Acropolis. The collection is on display in the British Museum. So I remembered, ooh, I'm smart. My degree worked. After gaining its independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1832, the newly founded Greek state began a series of projects to restore its looted monuments and art. It has expressed its disapproval of Elgin's removal of the marbles from the Acropolis and the Parthenon, which is regarded as one of the world's greatest cultural monuments. International efforts to repatriate the marbles to Greece were intensified in the 80s by the then Greek Minister of Culture, Melina Makori. And there are many organizations actively campaigning for the marbles' return. And I'm pretty sure Greece has a museum that is very, in the words of it's Fairly Odd Parents. This is where I'd put my Elgin marbles if I had any. Which is pretty wild. Free entry, we can go see them anytime we want. There's multiple arguments for this stuff. Because, like, of course, the British argument is that, first of all, whenever Egypt or Greece or anywhere else asks for their monument pieces, their art pieces back, is that usually Germany, Britain, whatever, say the arguments are you don't have the proper place to hold it. Finders keepers. We purchased these legally, which if you purchased them from the Ottomans during the Ottoman Empire rule of Greece, that's kind of debatable. What else do they say? And your country isn't safe enough to hold these. They might get ruined. And then also, why should we give them back to you when we're a bigger country where everyone can visit and come look at them? Why is anyone going to travel all the way to Greece just to look at the Elgin marbles? So, like, not very strong arguments. Ocean's 11 style film where they 3D print counterfeit statues and replace them with everything in the British Museum. I agree. We had to write a paper for the repatriation of an artwork, and I chose to do the bust of Nefertiti, which I think is in a German museum. A German archaeological team led by Ludwig Burckhardt discovered the bust in 1912 in a workshop. It's been kept at various locations and is currently on display at the News Museum in Berlin. The Nefertiti bust has become a cultural symbol of Berlin as well as ancient Egypt. That does not... What do you mean a cultural symbol of Berlin? Ja, und wie stolz ist... But, one of the things with the bust of Nefertiti is that I think when they found it, they basically, like, smuggled it. Because I think there was an Egyptian team that was also there as well. And they're like, hey, what'd you find over there? And they're like, oh, we didn't find nothing over there. It was empty. Nothing, not the bust of Nefertiti. So, like, also, it was kind of stolen. Like, very stolen. So, it's interesting. If you want to read about any of that stuff, you can check out those books. Or, I think Monument Men has a book itself that is titled Monument Men, and also the film is really cool. I think the book is called The Monuments Men. And then also the film. But then there's also those ones that are like The Assault of the Nile and The Assault of Europa. I haven't read The Assault of Europa. I own it. I need to read it. But I did have to read The Assault of the Nile for class. There's also been a claim that Elgin didn't actually have permission from the Ottomans. I can totally believe that as well. I can totally believe that. Do you like this song, Simon? This song is called Creative Theft by chance. What are the chances creative theft would show up? But yeah, interesting stuff in the art world. And also, like, difficult, you know? The Luxor obelisk in Paris was traded for a broken clock. Is that the one in the center of the, It's the one big obelisk, right? There are a lot of obelisks all over that are kind of sketch, you know? I don't think all of those obelisks were meant to really be moved anywhere else.